Electricity hasn't always been a part of our everyday lives. If you had lived in the area served by Berkeley Electric Cooperative 75 years ago, you would have experienced darkness so complete that it might frighten you. Except for the feeble orange glow from a smoking kerosene lantern, there was no light. Electric utilities already energizing the cities showed no interest in lighting the countryside. Then, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 7035, establishing the Rural Electrification Administration, and rural residents took matters into their own hands. In Berkeley County, coordinated by the County Agent's Office, a small group of men stepped forward to undertake the task of forming an electric cooperative. Each of the men had to convince 100 people to pay the $5 membership fee in order to reach the 600-member minimum needed to incorporate. This fee was no small amount in the 1930s, and in some cases, Mr. J. Perry Peagler, one of the original board members, would even pay the membership fee for those who couldn't afford it. And on January 5, 1940, the Articles of Incorporation were signed, and Berkeley Electric Cooperative was formed. Now, in 2015, Berkeley Electric Cooperative powers more than 86,000 homes and businesses in the Lowcountry. With highly trained crews, advanced technology, and friendly faces, we are the reliable power source that the people of Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties depend on. However, the story of Berkeley Electric Cooperative is not about poles and wires so much as it is about people. It's about the men and women who came together in the 1940s and worked hard to provide a life-changing service to their families and neighbors. And it is the story of those members and the cooperative employees who have worked together through the years since then to make this one of the strongest and most progressive electric cooperatives in South Carolina.
I was 10 years old before we got electricity where I lived.
I remember us getting electricity and our first refrigerator. And was that a joy?
The pole that they just took down out of my yard, it had 1946 on it, but we didn't get electricity until 48.
When I was about 10, 11 years old, I remember my dad going with a representative that was trying to organize the co-op, and they went around and collected $5 from people to join.
We had to educate the people to what a co-op was. They had us compared with bill collectors. So we had to make that distinction. We let them know that we were on their sides.
I wasn't rich, but people would come in there that even join and wouldn't have the $5. And I would give them the money out of my pocketbook. It meant that much to me.
We would set 40 poles in one day down them streets in Goose Creek. And, I mean, they have one on every other lot, which lots of them like 125 feet wide. So every 250 feet you had a pole.
Back then, you didn't have the hydraulic equipment like you got today. We had one hydraulic truck with the A-frame is all. And you had this digger with ropes on it, and you could just pull, dig up and down, and that you'd stay muddy all over from that.
Then they put the poles up by hand. They dug it with the longest post hole diggers you'd ever seen.
You would dig a hole down about 2 or 3 feet, and then we had an auger that you put it in, and then you packed the dynamite down on top of it and set the pole on top of that, and you'd run back out there a ways, and the pole would be slack, and you'd find the hole, pop, and it'd drop down 6 foot.
Well, back then, see, they read the meters and mailed them in. We'd mail out cards, and they would read them and send them in. Of course, a lot of them didn't have enough education even be able to read the meters, so we had to estimate quite a few.
We went from 10,000 customers to 65,000 in the 40 years that I worked there.
This is a splendid organization, and it takes splendid people to fit in.
Oh, it's a place, when you get there, you don't want to leave. It's a good place to work. Everything was good.
And it just meant so much to me to be able to help the people.
I like working at the co-op. The people were just like, we were just like a group of family people.
Service, service. I want to be remembered for the service I give, not the longevity, but the quality of service that I give.
I'm just sorry I retired. I am. I wish I'd have stayed on John Darling and worked till they told me, buddy, you gotta go. You're too old.
Today, a new generation of electric cooperative members must answer a call, like the rural families did 75 years ago. There is a new need to empower, inspire, and mobilize, to grow our communities with the electricity of our purpose, passion, and will, to improve quality of life in all of the communities in which we live. Think back now about the profound impact that our founding members made 3/4 of a century ago. And take hold of that same spirit, because together we are Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and the work of the next 75 years has just begun.